Good afternoon. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We're celebrating some amazing groups of people today, and we have a lot to celebrate. So we have, I want to start with thanking all of our puppy raisers. And how many are out there in the audience today? Please raise your hands. I know we have a lot of puppy clubs visiting. Yes, thank you. Without you, you know, I hope you've heard this many times, we couldn't do what we do, and it's true, and we've tried other ways, it doesn't work the same, so we appreciate all that you do. Your care and your love and your vision for your puppies is what helps them be who they are today. And we're going to hear from some of those puppy raisers later today. And we also want to thank our donors. Without them, we couldn't do it. Also, we don't receive any federal funding. It's all donations. So without our donors, we couldn't offer these amazing services. And we provide free services to our clients and the teams for the lifetime of the team. And our volunteers and our employees who also make this possible. We have, how many employees we know there's some employees here today, but how many volunteers are here today? We usually have several volunteers here. Yes, thank you. Our volunteers help in the gift shop. They do tours. They help with dog food. They help walk dogs. They do all kinds of fun things here. So if you're interested in volunteering, come talk to one of us. So we have lots of different opportunities here for volunteers. And so I'm Margie McMahon. I'm the class supervisor and also one of the instructors for this class. And we're going to show you a short video about our program, and then we'll introduce the clients.
At Guide Dogs for the Blind, we believe that everyone deserves to move through the world safely and confidently, to live the life they want to live.
A man and his guide dog walk through a park.
Our life-changing programs meet people who are blind or visually impaired wherever they are along their journey, whether that's by matching individuals with highly qualified guide dogs, providing guide dog readiness skills in our orientation and mobility immersion program.
A man holds a white cane and smiles broadly.
Or pairing youth and adults with the companionship of a canine buddy.
A young girl cuddles with her canine buddy.
Together, we are GDB.
My name is Renee Carrasco. My dog's name is Snoopy.
Renee sits in front of a fireplace.
So the reason that I wanted to get a guide dog was because I came across some videos from Guide Dogs for the Blind, and that was my introduction to guide dog travel.
Renee and Snoopy walk along a city sidewalk and cross a street at an intersection.
What I saw was the ease of travel, the speed that the guide dog handler would move with. That's what I wanted for myself. And not only that, but it was also the companionship.
Renee and Snoopy play with a tug toy outside in the yard.
Working with Snoopy has changed my life dramatically. Because there's so much freedom that comes along with having a guide dog. It's made the hard parts of blindness not so hard.
Renee sits next to Snoopy and gives him a pat on the chest.
I feel like my outlook on life and the world is so much more positive having Snoopy in my life.
My name is Amit Ahuja and my guide dog's name is Tashi.
I had the opportunity to complete Guide Dogs for the Blind's Orientation and Mobility Immersion program.
Amit stands on a path with his white cane.
And not only did it help me learn to navigate my environment more safely using a white cane, it also made me an even more confident guide dog handler.
My experience was just fabulous.
Amit and his O&M instructor analyze an intersection and cross a city street.
We trained in different locations, practiced different skills, worked out a way to analyze a traffic crossing. I think GDB has transformed my life. To say that it's meeting my needs would be an understatement.
My name is Ella, and this is my canine buddy, Lafferty.
Ella sits on the floor of a living room next to a black lab.
Lafferty is just so amazing in many ways. He's such a good boy. He brings me so much joy and is one of my best friends.
With kids with visual impairments,
Ella's mom, Christy McKerney.
the struggle is real for social contact. It's hard to make friends sometimes. And with Lafferty, he's an automatic draw for all kids, which is wonderful. Lafferty has totally opened up, for Ella, new social connections.
Back to Ella.
I would recommend canine buddies. they were just really good dogs, and they can change a person's life and make it better.
All of Guide Dogs for the Blind services are provided free of charge, and our work is made possible by the generous support of our donors and volunteers.
Renee sits next to Snoopy on the grass in the park.
We receive no government funding.
This organization has made such a huge impact on my life and the lives of so many countless people, and the donors are the ones that make that possible.
Close-up of Snoopy.
Thank you so much.
Ella and Lafferty.
Thank you.
From the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Amit and his guide dog Tashi sit on a beach and watch the sunset.
Together, we are unstoppable. To learn more about our life-changing programs and to support our work, please visit guidedogs.com or scan the QR code.
All right, we're going to hear from our clients, and let me be the first to call you graduates and say congratulations. I'm really proud of all the work you guys have done. They've been here 2 weeks living in our dormitory, learning to work with their new guides, and it's intense. It's morning to evening, and there's some long days and a lot of, hard work that they've put in, and as well as the dogs learning to adjust to a new handler. So it's really for both of them, and as we get the pleasure, me and Jamin, who you'll meet in a minute, of watching them kind of develop as a team and really coming together and gelling, and it's a beautiful thing. So congratulations, you guys, and you'll get to hear from their puppy raisers too, which will have some, I'm sure, some really heartfelt stories. So I hope you all got a tissue. I forget every time, and it gets me every time. So I'm going to introduce Jamin Nolan, our master instructor, that will be introducing the clients today.
I have a whole pocket full of Kleenex, because that's why I wear pockets. So our first graduate today is Ms. Iris Corcos of Laval, Quebec, and Iris is receiving her third guide dog today. This is her second from GDB. Her first one was from a Canadian school. Today, Iris is receiving a male black Labrador Retriever, Golden Retriever cross named Nexus. Nexus was raised and is being presented by Sharon Clegg of Paulsboro, Washington. And just a little bit about Iris. She told me she is on several committees for advocacy for the blind services and equality. She is active on Facebook and Discord groups, also for support and advocacy, as well as Canadian disability organizations that focus on, making a difference in general for visually impaired individuals. A betterment of life was really the goal. Iris says she had the pleasure of being the mother of 4 girls and 2 boys, and is now the grandmother of 4 beautiful grandchildren. She loves swimming, singing, and tandem biking. And here is your
Well, unfortunately, I have to be the first, of course. My luck, like usual. I'd like to begin by thanking the puppy raisers. Without their, dedication and hard work, I wouldn't be here today. And also the dedication, persistence, and encouragement of the trainers is incredible here at GDB. The staff is more than amazing. They're more than willing to do anything for you to make you happy while you stay here during the 2-week stay. And Nexus, I knew from the get-go that he was my dog. I came here for a reason, because I wasn't supposed to come here for this class, actually. And when I met up with him, that bond just came about instantly, and I can't say enough about that. I'm so happy and proud to have have him by my side and as my partner, guide partner. And yeah, he's an amazing sweetheart. He loves to play. He relieves on cue, which is something really important for me that I didn't have before. But he's really great in every which way. I can't even say enough about that. And of course, Sharon, the puppy raiser of Nexus, a very sweet lady who's raised many. I want to thank you very much, Sharon. You did such an amazing job. Thank you very much. Hang out here for a minute.
Oh, she doesn't know me very well. She called me a sweet lady. But I do try. Well, I have been doing this a very long time. My first graduating guide dog was probably in the year well before most of you were born. I've been doing this a long time. I thought I would divulge a very big secret, if you're all ready. GDB originated in 1942, I understand. And that's always easy for me to remember because I know somebody else who started out in 1942, and you're looking at her. It's sort of surprising, but true. So I raised my first puppy quite a long time ago, took a little bit of a vacation to raise a few children, then I got back into the whole program. And I've had a number of graduates since then. It's interesting because at first I delegated the speaking out loud at these things to my younger children, and that was so nice. I just said, okay, you do it, and they did a beautiful job. And then they grew up, and they left. So now I have to do it, and it's, well, one thing I've learned about it is that you don't want to use any inappropriate language. And you want to talk about what you know, and I know Nexus, he knows me. And then you want to have your cheat sheet for when you forget everything you thought you wanted to say. So I've got that covered too. The trick is to turn the pages when I only have one hand, but we'll worry about that when I have to turn the page. Okay, so we've got it covered. I know about Nexus, so that part of my public presentation is covered. Inappropriate language, I might as well get that over with too. I did teach him not to pee in the house. So I've said pee out loud, so that's all covered. And now I get to hang on to my cheat sheet in case I forget all the wonderful things I want to say about him. This really won't take an hour, but it kind of feels like it right now. Okay. Raising him really was a love fest from the very start. Just, he did it all. He's the easiest dog I've probably ever raised. Cheat sheet time. What I love so many things about him. One thing I loved about him is he would sleep free in the bedroom on a little cushy bed right by mine. And in the morning, I would suddenly, about the time it was time to wake up, I'd feel a little prickle on my face. And I'd open my eyes, and there was this big black nose, about a quarter-inch away from my face, and sometimes just moving a little bit ahead, so it prickled my chin. And he was just waking me up, or waiting for me to wake up. So I loved that. It was cute. Another thing I loved about him, just running my hand through his coat. He has this wonderful combination of golden retriever and Labrador retriever. It feels It feels so good. I love it. So, another thing that I loved about him is he kept me company when I was taking a bath. I have this big clawfoot bathtub. It's a monster. It's environmentally incorrect. I'm sure it takes so much water, but he didn't care. He would lie on the rug right next to the tub, and every now and then he'd sit up, he'd just put his head right next to the tub, kind of look at me. I always thought that he might be checking to see if I'd gone down the drain. I never did. It's a good thing, I guess. Another thing I love about him, he adores retrieving. He just loves it. You throw his retrieving stick out just as far as you can, and he's right there. I like to throw it in the bushes so he'd disappear for a moment, and he'd come back with it, so proud. So he was so good at it, I thought, I think I'll teach him to catch it in the air. That's not exactly a guide dog trick, but I thought, yes. So I'd take this little soft toy and toss it in the air and say, get it, and he'd leap up and try to get it, and every single time it bumped his nose and it plopped on the floor. He missed it every time. He was terrible at it. But it was a lot of fun for both of us, a lot of fun. So that's one thing about him. He was very, very fun. Another one that I love is that he's a swimmer. Most guide dogs hate swimming. I've raised a lot of puppies, and very few of them would even step in a puddle unless they were really encouraged. And he's quite a swimmer, so that's pretty good. Something to love. I love that he's a kind dog. He's a gentle dog, and you know, what could be better? What could be better? And Iris says the same thing. She sees that in him. So you're probably getting bored about all the stuff I love, but I'm not, so I'll keep talking. I loved how he could just hang out in the house without being naughty like most baby puppies. When he was small, he could do it. It didn't take any work on my part. He was just good at it. But I have to say, actually, he never was small. Well, when he was born, probably small then. But I got him when he was about 9 weeks old, and he was huge. I think it was, when I had to hold him after they gave him to me, it was kind of like a warm, cuddly bag of cement. I didn't last very long. 3 minutes and I was handing him off. I think it was, people thought I was a razor rejecting their puppy, but it's just, cement's hard to carry. So he never was small, really. It's time to say goodbye to my bag of cement. The final thing that I love is that he'll be part of your life, Iris. I know you'll take good care of him. I know you'll be kind to him and trust him. And, I mean, look at that. Look at this dog. I'm sure that he will do the same for you. So, good luck with him. I hope you have a great time together.
Thank you so much.
All right.
We have an amazing bond already.
Bye, Bubba. I know this one. One of my favorite things about Nexus is, you may have noticed, his ability to settle. He's like, all right, we're talking for a while, I'm taking a nap. Oh, we're going? Okay, cool. He's up for either one. So our next graduate today is Don Marata. Don lives in Cupertino, California with his fiancée, Audra, and her daughter Laura and son Jacob. Don works for a large technology company as a software quality assurance manager. His team works on accessible technologies that support people of all abilities. In his spare time, he enjoys collecting and building Lego, practicing close-up magic, cooking delicious foods, and going to concert and pro wrestling events. Not so sure about that last one.
He's going to love it.
Oh, Lordy. Don's magnificent beard is over 25 inches long and was recently awarded the title of Best in the West. Take a bow. Don is receiving his first guide, Arin, a male yellow Labrador retriever raised by Abigail and Janice Pruitt of Nevada, Reno, Nevada. Arin is being presented today by Janice and Dallas, not Abigail. Dallas is standing in for Abigail today. Also, Don and Arin are being sponsored by Cliff and Jenny Linton, and David Pena and Christina Pena of Alameda, California. They're being sponsored as a lifetime team sponsorship for Don and Arin.
Thank you, Jamin. And thank you to the sponsors. I sincerely and genuinely appreciate it. It's incredibly generous of you. For those who know me, you know that I'm well prepared. I'm kind of a perfectionist. And I was sitting in the audience during the filming of Pick of the Litter, right next to the hard cam, and I remember thinking, if I was ever up on that stage, what would I say? And I've been thinking about it ever since, years, until we were just sitting in the chairs right there, and I have nothing planned. All I want to do is say thank you, and I hope I don't leave anybody out. I was actually on the list with GDB before the pandemic, and I have tremendous Catholic guilt. And I called GDB and said, I'm just legally blind. There's other people out there that could benefit from whatever dog I might receive before I would. And I'd like to be removed from the list. And we had an amazing conversation. And it ended with, if and when you're ready, please give us a call back. And I told my coworkers, who are all GDB grads, and they said, what are you thinking? How could you do that? And a little over a year ago, I realized it's time. I've settled into an amazing life, an amazing career, and I was still struggling with navigating, and my colleagues never let up. And I reapplied, and I was told, you need a fast dog. So it's going to be probably a year and a half, maybe 2 years or more. And less than a year later, and if you didn't hear Jamin just sigh heavily, he is a fast dog. Other trainers, I've been told, have said, oh, today I worked with Arin. Margie clocked us the other day at 4.57 miles an hour. She said she's never clocked a dog that fast before. Jamin worked with us the other day and said she would never work with us again. I still love you, though.
His legs are a lot longer than mine.
But I said this is about giving thanks, and I want to take this time to thank my colleagues, Ryan Dewar, Bianca Yakub, Sil Matasit, Shan Henning. They're all GDB grads, and all of those dogs are in my office, and Arin will get to meet them on Tuesday. So Ryan and Bianca in particular, I've known you guys longer than anyone else in the group, and with your dogs and seeing how you work with them, you've made it look so easy. And then when I started going through the training materials, I realized it takes a lot of hard work to make it look that easy. And over the last 2 weeks, the training that we've received from Margie and Jamin has been invaluable. And I want to say thank you to you two as well. I'd like to say thank you to my classmates, Larry, Iris, Shan. You guys are fantastic. And being able to ask you questions, have you share different experiences that you've had with your dogs over the years has also been invaluable. I will forever remember you, and I look forward to staying in touch and hearing about your adventures as I share mine with Arin. Larry, you in particular were a great training partner. That team, there were so many laughs, so many head-shaking moments, but so many tremendous learns as well. Larry, I really appreciate my time getting to know you and work with you over the last 2 weeks. Lastly, I'd like to thank my family and my fiance, Audra. Thank you for letting me leave for 2 weeks and being away and being patient. She flew in yesterday, had a tremendous travel story, but she made it. And she came this morning to help load the van with my suitcases, and she said, "Hey, come here, I got a surprise for you." And I walked over to the van, and she opened the back door, and my mom and dad were sitting in the back seat. They flew over 2,500 miles to be here. And I won't say what I said when I saw them, not appropriate for this live stream, but it was with so much love, and I love you both. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for raising me with the values and morals that you did. I wouldn't be here without you and your support. Thank you. The last quick thanks, and it's not a quick thanks, but the last thanks goes back to Audra. We sat there in our home during the interview, and we talked after they left about how amazing could it be if during our wedding, we have a guide dog in the wedding photos. Oh, it's not going to happen. It's going to take 1.5 years, 2 years. We're good. Baby, we're going to have a guide dog in our wedding photos. I got someone to walk me down the aisle. Or run, yeah. So from the bottom of my heart to the sponsors, my friends, colleagues, my family, the love of my life, the trainers, and GDB. You know, those 3 letters, they mean a lot. When I think GDB, I think EST, because this is the finest, the greatest, with the nicest and the kindest people, making GDB the best place to get a guide dog. Thank you all.
Okay, so I'm here, Abigail, our daughter, about 5 years ago, she said, "I've got to do a volunteer project for school." And we went down to the food bank and we packed our boxes. And we got done that night. She goes, "Mom, we got to find something else to do." About that time, we had come across a puppy raiser in our community. And she's like, "That's what I want to do." So 5 years later, and Arkin has puppy number 4. She is still raising puppies. We are raising puppies in the home. And every single time, she's like, "Okay, time to get another one, time to get another one." Well, Arkin came to us while we still had a 6-month-old puppy in training. He was a starter puppy. Those of volunteers who know what starter puppies are, it's when you get them for only, a few weeks to get them through that potty training time frame. And then they go on to their puppy raising family for the rest of the time. Well, 6 weeks went, 8 weeks went, our leader came to us and said, "Do you want to just keep him?" And we're like, "Absolutely. Like, why are you even asking? Of course we'll keep him." And Arkin came into our home and just brought the light with him. He has always been kind of a Disney animation. He's very, very comical. He was always one step ahead of us as far as he was like waiting to like tell the punchline. He is a character. We could never challenge him enough. My daughter is a student at the university, and she would bring him to school, and he very quickly knew where her classes were. So she would park in different places and enter the campus from different directions. And he'd be like, look around. He's like, "Okay, I got this." And off they'd go. And walk fast. She's a fast walker, and he never slowed her down, and she never slowed him down. So we have just been blessed to have him in our lives. We're so thankful for our daughter Abigail for exposing us to GDB and allowing us this great opportunity. She is watching on the live stream. She happens to be in Italy at the moment, experiencing a bit of another culture. So, hi, Abigail. And fortunately, Don has let us know that we'll be able to meet with him and see them often. So Abigail will get a chance to continue to experience all that Arkin is going to learn and do. So I was also the other night talking to Dawn on the phone, and when she called me, she's like, "Mom, what's he like? Is it a good match?" I said, "You know what? If Arkin could talk, I think he would sound like Dawn." Abigail also wrote a little something that she would like to share, and her dad will be reading that.
All you have to do is imagine I'm a 19-year-old girl. Work that imagination real hard. All right, she says, Arkin was our fourth puppy, and he was a starter puppy flop. Our leader told us that GDB needed some help with some puppies, and we'd only have him for a few months. Well, here we are a year later, and I couldn't be happier that we kept him and get to see him graduating with Don. I think I knew Arkin was going to be a guide dog when he was about 6 months old. He started coming to school with me, and within the first week of school, he knew my college campus better than I did. He knew where my classes were, what days we were going to which classes. I had to start switching up our routes so he didn't get bored. But before too long, he knew those routes too. A few times, I wouldn't even know where we were, but Arkin did. He would look around and take me straight to class. Then once we got to class, I swear he would listen to the lecture and take notes. More than a few times, he helped me study for a test. I know GDB tells us that guide dogs can't decide your route, read signs, or drive cars, but I think Arkin could if we let him. While Arkin does love his work, he's also a big goofball that loves to play. I would have to remind him to turn on his thinky brain to get him back into work mode. So Don and Arkin, I know you guys will be an amazing team and will have many amazing adventures together. Arkin, I am so proud of you, and remember to use your thinky brain.
I'm laughing not so internally, connecting the two statements of Arkin being Don, Don being Arkin, Don liking to work being a goofball, Arkin being a goofball. Oops. All right. Am I wrong? Our next graduate today is Shan of Midlandburg, Pennsylvania. Shan is receiving her third guide dog, Strawberry. She is a female yellow Labrador golden retriever cross raised by Willa Lee. Did I pronounce it right? Okay. Willa Lee of Vashon, Washington, and Carrie Hutchinson of Kaiser, Oregon. Strawberry is being presented today by Willa. Shan tells me she has 2 adult children and 1 granddaughter. She doesn't like to talk about herself very much, so this is short. She likes to read, took up quilting in 2020 during COVID shutdown, and has been a knitter for about 50 years. She loves coffee, plans to explore new coffee shops with Strawberry, and Shan is on the Speakers Bureau and an active supporter of the GDB alumni page. And that's all she gave me.
I have a longer speech. Thank you all for being here. It's an honor to have my third guide dog from Guide Dogs for the Blind. And I feel like I'm home. I am from Pennsylvania, and I'm sorry, but I don't want to come back. I wanted to tell you about how important it is for us to have guide dogs as visually impaired people. They protect us, they guide us, they're our eyes, and they give us comfort. Some situations are pretty scary, but having a guide dog instead of that stick is so rewarding and it's so comforting, and they help us get out of tough spots. I'm a terrible speech giver, so I have to have notes. Thank you to everyone here, the staff, the trainers, the instructors. You've been amazing. You've treated us like we were at a 5-star hotel, except when we were training like crazy. But Our trainers, our instructors were encouraging, kind, and very helpful in all of our situations that we had. Strawberry's bored. Donors, I'd like to really thank you as supporters of this organization. We are the beneficiaries of your generous support, and we wouldn't be here without you. And to the puppy raisers who give your time, your love, your patience, and a great beginning to these young dogs' lives, we really appreciate your love of them, and thank you for all that you do. Do you all have your tissues ready? Jamin, you might need to pass some out. Okay. I'd like to share a story with you about my connection with this dog named Strawberry. In 2009, I graduated from this very campus with my first guide dog named Hodge. As a dairy farmer and a person who loved animals, my dad was my biggest concern when I went home with Hodge. We had the instructor conference with the family, and sure enough, my dad's first question was, when can the dog play? They assured him that the dog would be able to play. Fast forward to the Friday after I graduated. My dad met Hodge for the first time. He was respectful and loving. The next morning, while my dad was planting strawberries, he had a fatal heart attack. During the pandemic, I learned to quilt. For my first granddaughter, I made a quilt. You doing okay? With 6 hearts that look like strawberries. The fabric's print of those strawberry hearts are dog bones, paws, and hearts in varying shades of red. In June of 2024, I got the call. They had a dog for me. My class date was July the 15th, 1 year after I was accepted. At the time, I was working on a quilted wall hanging with strawberries on it. I decided to get a manicure before I came to Oregon because the nails have to look good. I decided I wanted to honor my dad. So on my left hand, on my left ring finger, is the image of a strawberry. That left hand holds the harness of my dog. On my right hand, on my right ring finger, is the image of a paw print to honor the love I have of GDB. 3 days before class, I thought, I wish I had time to sew a scarf for the dog to wear. And I had some leftover strawberry fabric, but I decided I didn't have time, so I ordered one from Amazon. Had it delivered to my son who lives in Oregon City. Shout out to Brandon and Ella. Monday, July 15th came. Dog Day had arrived. When my instructor, Jamin, entered the room, she said, "This is your dog, Strawberry." I said, "You're kidding." She goes, "No." She didn't know the story. Everything that Jamin told me after that, I don't remember. Apparently, Strawberry had a birthday during class that I knew the next day after her birthday, because I didn't hear it the first time around. My 2 kids and I also have strawberry ornaments hanging on our Christmas trees in honor of my dad. As you can tell, I have great respect and love for my dad, who has now been gone 15 years. I thank you all for being part of my journey, and now with Strawberry. You made it all the way.
Hi. Yeah, I'll just so everyone's on the same page, when Strawberry was growing up, her nickname was Squishy, so you'll hear that a lot in the speech. Okay, thank you. Hi, I'm Willa. I started Strawberry and I had her for the first year of her training. Strawberry was my first GDB puppy to raise, and I couldn't have asked for a more loving, hardworking, and sweet girl. She was an absolute joy to raise, and I'm so unbelievably proud of her and grateful for everything she has done for me, my friends and family, my club, and now Shan. All throughout her time with me, Squishy would walk into new situations with a smile on her face and bouncing steps, ready to keep going. On my last day of school with her, I covered her green puppy in training vest with pink paper, asking people to sign their names on it. I still can't believe how many people fit their names on that paper, and Strawberry was more than eager to sit perfectly still while she was petted and drawn on, even with the overwhelmingly large amount of kids crowding around her. There were all kinds of sweet notes and drawings on Squishy on that paper, but there were 2 words that were written over and over: good luck. I know anyone who wished this for her meant well, but I also know it wasn't luck that brought Strawberry here today. It was the hard work and love of each and every person who played different parts in her training journey. Thank you so much to my family, who have literally been my biggest cheerleaders throughout this life-changing process, as well as huge helpers, taking night shifts when Strawberry was younger and I'd test at school the next day, driving her to puppy sitters' houses, and even just holding the leash for a moment or putting kibble in the dog bowl. A huge thanks to my club members, who have always played a huge role in Squishy's life, including giving her her nickname. Thank you to Strawberry's wonderful instructors and supervisor, and to all of the volunteers and staff here at GDB. All of the incredible work you do has brought us here today, and I couldn't be more grateful. So thank you. Last but definitely not least, thank you so much, Carrie, who unfortunately couldn't make it today, for taking Strawberry into her care for the last day of her training. The day I put her on the puppy truck to send her to you was a very hard day, but I couldn't have asked for a better person to help her along in training. You have done a wonderful job with our sweet girl, and I know for a fact she wouldn't be here without you. Squishy, I love you so much. I know you're going to be the best girl you can be for Shan, and you're going to help her so much as you go on adventures together and make the world just a little bit brighter. And Shan, I'm so happy and excited that you and Strawberry are graduating together today. There could not have been a more perfect match, and I wish you the very best.
All right, so we do have Kleenex around the stage and stuff. Okay, our final graduate today is Larry Watkinson of Olympia, Washington. And Larry is receiving his 6th guide, Kayla. Kayla is a yellow Labrador retriever raised by Cassidy Gross of Tempe, Arizona, and Haley Paulson of Tempe, Arizona, and being presented today by Cassidy. There she is. Larry tells me he has a master's degree in public administration and works for the state of Washington Department of Licensing. He works for the director as an ADA compliance manager, and last week was recognized by his peers all across the state agencies as the state agency's Advocate of the Year for the state of Washington. Larry and his family have raised 5 puppies for GDB, and when he talks about his family, he tells me he has 2 children and 1 wife. His hobbies include the Lions Club, ham radio operation, and technology in general, and is obviously advocacy. So this is Larry. Buckle up.
Suck it up, Buttercup. I'm a very, very serious student. Always. I just got to convince Margie and Jamin of that. Because they are always trying to protect Don from growing that beard out further. So they asked me to shave mine because they didn't want him to have any competition. Anyhow, I want to you know, we all stand up here and we want to thank puppy raisers, we want to thank the staff, we want to thank the donors, we want to do all that stuff, and it sounds like a made-for-commercial propaganda, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And what I want you to know, all of you, there's not one thing that comes out of any one of our mouths that has been coerced, discussed with us, encouraged to talk about, or to walk through. It is from the heart. And I mean that. It is strictly from the heart. We're not coached. And I just want folks to know that. So when we thank you as a puppy raiser, we mean it. When we thank you as a staff member, volunteer, we mean it. When we get fed better than most five-star restaurants, we mean it. When we talk about what Guide Dogs has done to impact the lives of those of us who receive these dogs, we mean it. So you get the theme? It's not pre-coached, pre-diagnosed, and predetermined. Now, I've been on a journey. I lost my dog in 2020. I've worked with a couple dogs in the interim. All relationships don't work out. That's why I'm lucky I only have one wife. Now, Margie has worked with me for this is the process, for over 2 years in getting me back down to class to train with a dog, to making sure that the dog match that we have was going to work. Because the fact of the matter is that although I'm a very independent, determined person, I have been broken. And broken for me means I've been dealing with the COVID pandemic, the lockdown, being held in almost damn near solitary confinement. Wait, that was inappropriate, but that's me. And being able to come back out into the economy, I will tell you, as much as we appreciate you as donors and appreciate you as volunteers, when you see your buddies and friends out there, tell them to return back to the pre-pandemic driving behaviors that they have had, because it is a dangerous world that we're now navigating. And I have been broken. I have not wanted to go anywhere without my wife on my side, or my daughters, Miss Shana and Rihanna, who could not be with us today, but Miss Shana is. And the fact is that, you know, it's one of those things that, you know, I'm a big guy and you conceal it. But the fact of the matter is, without having Guide Dog, family support, people who believe in what you're doing and being willing to make themselves available to provide the services. Today we're talking about, Margie's been here 32 years. Jamin's been here, she said 117 years or something like that. She doesn't act like it though. She's really just a young chick. But anyhow, that's the fact of the matter is. And so that's really humbling to be here. And I thank you all for being here. Don, I had a hell of a time with you, my friend. It's been great. So anyhow, I'm going to pass this off to Cassidy, because you heard from me long enough, and I'll come back for the second segment of my speech, Jamin. Where you at, Cassidy?
Right here. Hi, I'm Cassidy. I co-raised Kayla with Haley Paulson. She's not able to be here, but she's probably watching. I got told that I was going to have Kayla probably 2-3 weeks beforehand. I was 19, going to ASU in a sorority, and our philanthropy was Service for Sight, and we worked closely with Guide Dogs for the Blind. And I got asked to co-raise her with Haley, and it was not at all what I was expecting. I was like, oh, I'm just going to puppy sit for my friends when they need it. It'll be super easy. She was one of about 5 dogs in a sorority house with 32 women. She loves ice. They can't have very many treats, but ice was a really big thing. You'd throw it up in the air and she'd chomp right on it. She was so good at catching that ice. You couldn't even walk. When I eventually moved into an apartment, I couldn't even open the freezer without her following me to the freezer and standing back about like 3 feet, just waiting for the ice cube to be thrown to her. She walked with me to all my classes. She was the talk of the town with 75,000 students at that school. When I first got her, it was like around November, and our finals were in December. And I've never heard a dog snore so loud in my entire life. She would sit right under the table. I'd sit on her leash. She'd lay there, and she would just snore for hours. And I'd be studying for finals, and it was so cute. I didn't want to wake her up, but it was the loudest snore ever. But really, guide dogs was one of the greatest things I've done in college and probably my life. She came in to my life at a very interesting time, sophomore in college, and now I've graduated and she's graduating. It's just crazy timing of it all. But guide dogs and all taught me, of course, how to raise a dog, but also gave me an opportunity that would forever impact my life. I feel so much. I'm so fortunate to have gotten to meet Kayla, raise her, be part of this amazing organization. And raising her was no easy feat, but it brought me so much joy over the past year and a half. I am beyond happy that Kayla found her perfect partner, and seeing them together fills my heart with so much joy and happiness. It's what everybody wanted for her, and I'm so happy to see her with you, Larry. It's just, it's a feeling that I could not describe to anybody else unless they were to raise a dog and watch them go to just a perfect partner and family. And I'm once again so thankful for guide dogs, for bringing her into my life, and I can't wait to see all the amazing things you two are going to do together.
Now, I do want to say very quickly, Margie and I had a secret conversation the other day, and Margie, I meant it.
Okay. All right. So Margie has a few things to say as I get ready to do a short little demo for you with a little yellow lab named Fran.
Okay, yes, we're going to do a little demonstration for you today. I hope that you learned something about guide dogs for the blind today. I hope maybe you were inspired. And I hope you can feel how this is a community, a really close community and a family. And, you know, it's a really amazing place to work. And so I feel very fortunate to have been here as long as I have. We want to share with you today a demonstration with one of our dogs in training, and Jamin's grabbing her now. During our training, we do a lot of our training with the use of a clicker. And it's an audible signal to the dogs. And it, Larry, quiet. Okay. Good boy. All right. So the clicker is an audible signal for the dog, and it marks the behavior we want them to repeat. And it makes the communication a lot more consistent and timely, and it's better than just praise or food alone. And the dogs, you'll see, Fran will show you, she's going to be excited to do it. They find like it's like a game, so it makes learning kind of fun for them. So most of the skills they use are through this clicker. And we start by pairing the food with the sound of the click. And this is a quick process, and then once they know that, then we can add in behaviors that we want to teach them. So we're going to show you how we would teach a dog to find a bench or a chair. So Jamin's going to start with hand targeting. She's going to put her hand out, and the dog knows to touch her nose to her hand, and she's going to get a click and a reward. So every time the dog hears a click, they know they get food. And then she's going to move her target to the object, the bench, and she's going to click there. And then she's going to take a step back and then put her hand on the chair and click there. So the dog's moving now towards the object. So then she'll back up a little further, and she just slowly is going to add distance. And then once farther, then she's just going to find the bench. When the dog finds the bench, she gets the reward. So now this time she's going to go several steps back, and she's going to try to pick up the handle and work her to the bench. And then once Jamin finds it, Then she clicks and feeds, yeah. If she has time, you know. Sometimes they're too fast. We can't quite catch up to what they're doing. So now this time we're pretty sure she's going to do it from this distance. She's going to add a command. The command is find the bench or find the chair. Until we think the dog is going to anticipate what we're asking him to do, we don't add the command. But you can see how much fun she's having. And so this is really, the dogs remember the behaviors better too. So if a client was using this, we've taught all our clients how to do this, they're going to use it to find bus stops or lighted intersection buttons or ATM machines or trash cans or whatever. So this is a fun way for them to teach their dog when they go home things in their environment they want the dog to target. Let's give a hand to Fran and Jamin. All right, Jamin and Fran are going to stay up here if you want to ask questions after the ceremony. We are inviting those of you that are here in person to join us for refreshments in the gift shop area in the front lobby. There's also going to be a volunteer in the back with a paddle. She's going to have a tour arranged if you want to have a tour of the campus. And if you're interested in volunteering, donating, working for us, being a puppy raiser, maybe you are interested in getting a guide dog, come see one of us, or you can go to our website, guidedogs.com, and find out more, and we hope to see you again soon. Thank you.